Welcome to the Coriolis effect with Cory Oliver.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode. Hi guys, we wanted to announce that like many podcasters, we just started a Patreon account. Visit our page at patreon.com/the Coriolis effect. We have 5 different levels of membership and offer early access to episodes, behind-the-scenes footage, bonus episodes, shoutouts, and much more, including personal phone calls, questions and answer sessions, and live chats with Bob and me. That's patreon.com/the Coriolis effect. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Cory. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very, very well.
Oh.
It's a nice outfit. Is that what you're wearing today?
Yeah. Could you say that anymore?
Yes, I can say it every show. From now on, I'm going to say, that'll be our little thing. Good morning. Is that what you're wearing? Looks nice. It does look nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Is
it hot in here?
Yes, it is hot in here,
Hot
actually.
in here. There you go. People in the podcast can't see. Cory has, what do you call those? Pit stains.
It's pit stained, but it's hot in here. I'm sweating. It's so
It is
hot in here.
70,
That's why I have...
Oh, gosh, 77 degrees in here. It's not hot.
I can tell it's not cold because I'm not complaining.
Everybody sweats. That's
Sammy
Sammy.
says she's not complaining,
I love
which is
that,
very
Sammy.
rare for my wonderful daughter.
I've really enjoyed having your daughter here the last few episodes. It's so nice.
Yes, she's a good PA.
Yeah. No.
You want to be a PA? Go get us something to drink.
No, don't
That's what PAs do.
respond to that.
PAs don't get paid.
What am I going to do if I don't get paid?
Then you can't be a PA. So, who's on the show today?
Actually, we have George Hurst on the show who created MyNaturalHerniaCure.
Of
.com.
the Hurst Castle Hurst?
No, he is not, but he is...
Would like to be.
He the long and short of it is that he had a hernia and he designed an incredible hernia belt, and you can go to his website, mynaturalherniacure.com, and read all about his blog and what he went through and why he designed it, and it's effective. I mean, he's had thousands of people that have either cured it or have minimalized their hernia, and I love that. He turned his pain into his purpose, and that's what I'm all about. So
It's definitely the long of it, but not the short of it. The short of it is he made a hernia belt. A hernia truss.
It's a Comfort Truss.
Comfort truss.
Yes.
For hernias.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
And what's he going to talk about?
well, he's just going to talk about his story and how he created it and why, and some of the things that he had in common with some of the other people that when he was researching about getting this hernia, some of the things that he had in common and why he feels that he got his. And a lot of people suffer from this. It's an inguinal hernia. There are several different kinds. This one happens to be lower in the lower abdomen on a side, one side or the other. And it's derived from the abdominal weakness, I guess the
abdominal wall.
Wall, right. And so even though you do sit-ups and you work out, you can still get this.
Yeah. It's the intestines or something on the inside poking through the abdominal wall.
Yes.
And it can be painful. But,
It can.
But it could also be a pain in the rear end.
Yes.
And usually you get it from like too much stress in the body. You can get it from a lot of things.
Right. So I love that he decided to do something about it and is now helping people all around the world. I love that.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else going on?
What else is going on?
What's new with you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Yeah.
You got to see Ariana, of course?
No, I get to see her next week.
Ah.
I know. I'm very excited. I mean, I saw her. I FaceTime her every day. So I get to actually see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At least once or twice. Is that wrong?
Every day?
Yes.
Yeah, that's wrong. Well, it's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
It's clingy.
No, it's not.
Okay, you can say it's not.
We have a very close relationship, and it's not me. I'll text her, I'll call her, she'll call me just to check in.
And what happens if you go 2 days without talking to her?
It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
Have you gone a day without talking to her?
No.
Since she's been born, have you gone a day without talking to her?
No.
What if she goes on like a round the world tour and can't get to talk to you?
I will hunt her down. I mean, isn't that how we're supposed to feel? That we just,
Okay, so in doing a lot of divorces over the years, I've come to the conclusion that out of the hundreds of different types of people there are, everybody who's got a bad habit can change, okay, with the exception of 2 people. Like if you're an abuser, if you're a liar, if you're a cheater, if you're just a mean person, you can change. You can work on yourself and you can change it. I used to have a huge temper when I was a kid. I stopped. Now, big things happen and I get upset, but I don't externalize the upset. I get inside and I get ulcers. So the two people who can't change are control freaks, people who like check your phone all the time and don't trust you, that they're never going to change.
I agree with you on that.
And mama's boys. And I define a mama's boy as a guy who's married and talks to his mom more than 3 times a week.
Really?
If you're married to a mama's boy, you will never own his heart because his mom already owns it. And it's like you're walking down the street and you hear the gunshot and he protects his mother and not you, like on the TV shows. Yeah, because I've had a bunch of divorces with mama's boys, and they forget it. They don't care about their wives.
I've been married twice and I still haven't owned their heart, and they were not mama's boys.
Well, I'm not saying they're the only people, but if you talk to your mom, if you're a guy and you talk to your mom 3 times a day and are married, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, the producers of this show do not recommend the opinion.
Producers. I'm going to go with I disagree on this one, and we can still...
I want to say the Coriolis effect is not responsible for my opinions, but I think if you talk to your mom 3 times a week, you're a mama's boy.
I don't. If you're a boy or a man out there and you talk to your mom 3 times a week, continue on, because your mother is the most important woman in your life.
What about your father?
Woman, I said. The important woman in your life, and if a man respects his mother, then he's going to respect you.
If a man talks to his mother every day.
You said 3 times a week.
I said more than 3 times a week. If he talks to his mother every day, you're never going to own his heart. I had one of my secretaries was engaged in getting married, and the husband-to-be was a bit connected to his parents more than he should have been. So they bought a brand new house in Canyon Country, and one day she walks in the office mad as heck. What's wrong? The parents bought the house next door, and they were being built. Okay. So, and then one day...
That's a little close.
So while she was at work, the mother went over and picked out all the cabinets for them and did all the work for the house. And I don't even know if they got married because she stopped working for me after like 6-7 months. But yeah, that's a little...
I get that. Yeah. I mean, when you're first starting out, you want to have your own family and have your own, but... Anyway, that's
my opinion.
We love that,
and
Bob.
It's true. It's correct. It's the right one.
Okay.
And there are
Thank
no
you,
other
Bob.
All right, so George Hurst.
MyNaturalHerniaCure.com.
Hurst. Right. All right, we will see you in a few.
Okay. So, Bob, I'm very excited today to try this drink. It is called Brizo.
Brizo, okay.
Yes, and it is a health drink, and it has a lot of natural ingredients. 2 of them are apple cider vinegar, which I love, and Manuka honey, which is straight from New Zealand. There's only 3 grams of sugar in this. That is amazing. This one is actually called Berry Beet. This one is pineapple turmeric. Oddly enough, I just put turmeric in my coffee this morning. Yes, I can taste the turmeric in that. These are all really good. I predict this being a big, huge hit. These are fantastic. It's on Amazon. You can get these on Amazon.
And they come in variety packs, or you can buy 1 pack of a single thing, or you can get the 4-pack.
Oh, no, I'm going to go on Amazon and get these Brizos. These are fantastic. Thank you. Well, they knocked it out of the park on this. Brizo.
It's been a year and a half, so yes.
0 fat, 0 cholesterol, barely any carbohydrates, 3 grams of sugar. It has vitamin D, which is, right now it's big. We should all be taking vitamin D, calcium, iron, potassium, and vitamin C. Done. I'm getting this. This is a fantastic drink. Thank you.
Glad you like it.
Brizo, 4 different flavors. Berry beet, pineapple turmeric, ginger lemon, and pomegranate hibiscus. Wonderful. Tastes great.
We want to take a minute and talk to you about ExpressVPN. Most people don't know that your internet provider, many websites, and even apps collect all of your data and then sell it to whoever's willing to pay for it. They know what websites you visited, what products you've bought, what products you looked at and did not buy, and some people can even copy your passwords and usernames and then access your private accounts. ExpressVPN encrypts all of your data and sends it from their servers, so no one knows where you are. With ExpressVPN, people may think you're in Bangladesh when you're really in Chicago. They would think you're in South America when you're really in Detroit. ExpressVPN protects you from hackers who try to steal your information, and also from spies who try to use your data for their own nefarious purposes. ExpressVPN also allows you unrestricted access to all parts of the internet. How does it work? ExpressVPN uses the best-in-class encryption. Whenever you are connected to ExpressVPN, every piece of data going in and out of your devices goes through a securely encrypted tunnel and cannot be seen. Not by the government, not by hackers, not by your internet service provider, not even by ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN also employs IP masking. Every device has a unique IP address, which can be traced back to you. When you use ExpressVPN, your connection gets routed through one of their 3,000 plus servers, hiding your real IP address and replacing it with one of their own. This allows you to browse the web truly anonymously. With servers in 94 different countries, you have a wide variety of places you can choose to appear from. ExpressVPN also provides 24/7 customer support with live chat, which means your question will be answered within seconds, not hours or days. It is also one of the easiest apps to use. Just open the app, and with one click, you're protected. It is also physically impossible for any of ExpressVPN's servers to store logs of any customers. And ExpressVPN is a top-rated VPN provider, rated #1 by CNET, The Verge, Wired, TechRadar, and many more. Just go to expressvpn.com/Cory to get 3 extra months free with a 12-month plan. This is a limited time offer for the Coriolis Effect with Cory Oliver listeners. Again, get 3 months free with a 12-month plan. Go to expressvpn.com/Cory. With ExpressVPN, you can protect all of your digital devices, your computers, your phones, your tablets, everything, and have no more border restrictions. Again, that's expressvpn.com/Cory.
Maybe it has something to do with the hernia. No hernia, too.
Hey, let's
I don't
start the
know.
show.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Bob. Good morning. We have George Hurst on the Coriolis Effect. Welcome, George.
No relation to Hurst Castle?
Thank you. No, I wish.
No.
Yeah, everybody wishes, yeah.
Yeah. But I'll just say up front, he has a website called mynaturalherniacure.com, and we're going to talk all things hernia today. I've had friends that have had hernias. I myself thought I had one, but it just turned out to be a 3-pound tumor, which we were just talking about.
I had a herniated disc. Is that defined as a hernia?
No, that's totally different.
Not this kind of hernia, but
So if you could explain the difference between a hernia and a herniated disc.
Well, a hernia is basically in your stomach. It's when like a part of your intestines or internal organ pushes out through the muscle in your stomach.
Okay.
A herniated disc is in your spine. So
Right. It's a leakage of the inner matter inside the what do you call it, the cushions between the spinal things?
yeah.
Yeah. I recommend don't do that, by the way. It hurts like anything.
and a lot of people get hernias. You can get hernia from moving a piece of furniture, picking up a animal, or there's many different ways you can get them. They're very common. They can be painful, and some people don't even know they have them.
Yeah.
So I love, before we get into all of that, I do have a word of the day for Mr. Hurst. We do a word of the day, and you have to try to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here is a phobia word. I don't have my...
Glasses?
No, I have my glasses. I don't have my sound effects, so I'll just have to mount them.
Where are they?
It is either plegia or plegia, plagiophobia or plagiophobia. Plegia phobia is the fear of...
The Pledge of Allegiance.
Plaques.
Begins with a P.
Plaque.
Think medical. What happens when you have a hernia?
Pain. Fear of pain.
No.
E.
That's a really good... Can you tell us the answer so we can
it's
get
not
on
even
with
to
the
keep
show?
guessing. It's the fear of paralysis.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's a good
okay.
one.
There you go.
They're all good ones. You say it like that's the first time.
This is true.
This is true. You say it like it's the first time, and this is true that they're all good ones.
Right. Well, today I just want to say this and preface this that I myself try to always go holistic and natural whenever anything happens to my body. I'm not giving in medical advice. Neither are you.
Yep.
This is just.
The producers of this podcast are not responsible for any medical advice given by anybody on this show.
Well, exactly. But the truth is, a lot of us would like to, before they have to go under the knife or go into surgery, would like to exhaust all avenues if we can, if time is on our side, before we go into the hospital, especially now when we're going through all of this stuff, right? And so I love what you said on your website, and I love that you took action, and I love that you did something about it, and you created a hernia belt, or a tool, if you will. It's called a Comfort Truss. But you said the Dalai Lama once said, each of us has tools.
This hernia hurts. What do you say?
No, he didn't say that.
He didn't say that? For sure?
No, I'm pretty sure he didn't. But he says, and I quote, each of us has tools for helping to change the world in a better direction. The Comfort Truss is the tool that that you're sharing, that George is
Yeah.
sharing, and that you created.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you created it, not assuming, actually, I read, out of your own necessity. So
I
if
did.
you would like to tell us your story and how you created the Comfort Truss, which is the tool, a belt that can help and aid in retracting and potentially curing a hernia.
So the belt is worn after you already have the hernia.
Yes.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So basically, I'm a super active guy. I'm a surfer. I live, a block from the beach. I ride dirt bikes. I ride mountain
You
bikes.
can never tell by that picture behind you.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a cool
So
setup.
I'm always doing something, working out, doing Muay Thai. I'm an active guy. And all of a sudden one day I was in the shower and I saw that I looked down and I saw a lump in my groin. And I was like, well, I thought I had cancer when I first saw it. I was like in shock and I didn't know what it was. I was, it scared me. And then I just, I went in, I realized that I could push it back in. It wasn't like stuck out. I could push it back in and it would go away for a little while. And, I started doing some research and online and stuff like that. And I realized that it was an inguinal hernia and that I wasn't the only one that has this, it's 25% of all men in the world get these hernias. It's a lot bigger of a percentage of men than women. I think with women, it's only about 2%.
Can I ask you really quickly? It's an inguinal. How do you say it?
Yeah, I've heard it pronounced inguinal or inguinal. I say inguinal.
Okay, and how many different types of hernias are there?
I don't even know. I just got so focused on the inguinal hernia. That's all I really pay attention to is just the inguinal hernia. I know that you can get them in your navel, and a couple of different other places, but I just focus all my attention on the inguinal hernia because that's the one that I
So
have.
what is the inguinal hernia?
Exactly.
It's basically it's a weakness in the muscles that make up the inguinal canal, and it's a part of your intestines, or sometimes it could be fat that actually pushes through the muscle in the inguinal canal and causes that lump to show up in your groin. And it's right above basically the crease between your thigh and your stomach. So it's in a weird spot where it's it's really hard to have a muscle that's toned right there, especially for, people that sit a lot or drive a lot and things like that, But basically that's where the inguinal hernia comes out. It comes out on the top of the crease. There's another one that's called a femoral hernia that's really close to being an inguinal hernia, except it would come out below the crease of the between your thigh and your stomach. The inguinal comes out above the crease. So that's how you know it's an inguinal hernia.
And so you're in the shower, you saw a lump, and that can be scary, right?
Yeah, I freaked out for a second. I thought I had cancer. I thought I had a tumor. But then I did some research. I realized that it was an inguinal hernia. And then I just got really kind of depressed, for a minute there. I was like, how? Like I'm a healthy guy. Like I'm active. I'm not, I don't smoke cigarettes. I eat organic food. I'm a healthy guy. So how could I end up with this hernia? And it was really just like a kick in the stomach, And then I started looking around to see what the cure for a hernia is, if there was anything out there that I could do to help it. And everything that I found was all surgery. That was the recommended action was surgery. And that was it. That was the only action that was recommended was surgery or watchful waiting, which is basically where they tell you just to watch it and wait and see if it gets any worse. And basically it will. If you don't do anything about it, it will get worse. And then eventually, you're going to need surgery for it.
And by the way, I think a friend of mine had one of these, female, and she had the surgery and they stick a mesh in there. They stick kind of like a little mesh piece in there. And then and this, I'm just speaking to her surgery. She had complications from that mesh. And so I think she had wished that she had tried it on her own. So I love that you created this truss, if you will.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So that was the main thing that I saw once I started seeing that surgery was the only option. Then I started seeing all these horror stories of, people having bad reactions to the mesh and, just all kinds of problems that come from surgery with mesh. And I didn't want any part of it. I didn't want to get cut open. I didn't want anything like that. Anything invasive. I'm like, I won't even take aspirin for a headache. So, you can imagine, like, I'm definitely not going to want to get cut open by a surgeon.
What do you do when you have a headache?
I don't really get headaches very often, but if I do, I can just kind of lay down and take it easy, and probably about an hour later, it would be gone.
Real quick, and not to interrupt you, I'll give you a tip. I have cluster headaches. They come every couple of years, and they're 2 weeks, and they literally knock me out. And I started with Excedrin migraine, then the doctor went to Tylenol, then it went to Imitrex, and all these major diseases, and nothing was helping. We had a guy on the show who does CBD, and it's non-THC CBD, and it's this little like thing of like almost like Vaseline jelly, but you just put a little topic on you. It stops the inflammation. It works wonders. It is better than any, and I've had every prescription drug you can think of. This stuff works perfectly. Non-THC CBD topical.
And a lot of times, not that we're going on total headache rant, but a lot of times if you had to have a headache, you're dehydrated. And if you just drink a few tall glasses of water, it'll go away. Not in your case, because you get these really severe ones.
Or you could just, leave the room from the podcaster who's giving you the headache, and then you're fine.
Yes. Or the producer.
Works both ways.
No, but I do love this this belt, if you will, or truss. I don't know why you call it a truss. We'll talk about that. It's called the Comfort Truss. Why did you name it a Comfort Truss, or is that an actual?
Because it's a truss.
Yeah, that's what they've in the medical industry. That's what they call a hernia belt. It's a truss, I guess, because it spans across both sides, and and it's there to put tension on the hernia to push it back in. So it's like a common term used in the medical industry for what that is. So I just kind of stuck with that, to put it in the name. But
so do you have before and after photos of yourself?
No, I don't actually.
Oh, okay.
Because
but
when I first
healed yourself.
Yeah, I wish I would have. That's the one thing I wish I would have done, is taken pictures of it so that that I would see. But it's in kind of a weird area, and I'm I don't want to have. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to. I didn't want to. Put
Once it's on the internet, it's always on the internet. Yeah.
It kind of felt weird, and I wasn't really, when I first started writing on my blog and going about all this, I really wasn't. I was just trying to write down what I was doing in case it worked, And I was like, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I want to document this so that if it does work, other people like me that are doing research on, what they can do can find my blog and actually, follow along with what I did and have the same results, But I wish I would have taken pictures in the beginning. It would be a lot easier to, just say, here, this was it before, now this is it now,
So tell me what specifically is unique in your Comfort Truss, because I've seen pictures, and we'll put pictures up on right now of your website and the actual truss. Tell me what it is because there's a little spot there that covers it, and does it have something specific that puts pressure to push it back in?
Yeah, it's basically like all hernia belts or trusses. They all pretty much do the same thing. They're all designed to go around your waist. They have a leg strap goes down around your leg, and it puts pressure back in towards your stomach to hold the hernia in. The problem was that when I first started going about all this, I bought every single hernia belt that I could find on the market, and they were all terrible. They were designed by people that definitely did not have hernias, or else they wouldn't have even put these things out on the market.
Tell me a couple of things that were uncomfortable or that didn't work with them that you kind of, what's the word? Mastered.
Made better. I mean, most of them were made with like big elastic straps, and some of them would have metal buckles on them. They were big and bulky, and like a hard pad in the front that was like a convex shape. So it was like, a bowl that would like go back in towards your stomach. So it would actually dig into your skin and it would just hurt to wear. Most of them, literally, I couldn't wear them for more than an hour. I would have to take them off and just throw them away because I'm like, there's no way I can't function in this. Even just sitting at my desk working, I couldn't wear it, let alone, like if I wanted to go do something active, there was no way. Laying on a surfboard with this big plastic pad that would be digging into my stomach it just wasn't going to work. A lot of them have like a really high waist, they come up really high. So, I'm a surfer, I'm on the beach, I'm wearing, surf trunks, I got my shirt off and I'm walking around like this big thing sticking up over my surf trunks. Like, I'm not going to do that.
No bueno, no good.
So, it needs to be discreet. It needs to be comfortable. It needs to move with your body. It needs to be breathable. A lot of them would be so hot that you would be sweating like down your legs because they would be causing you to sweat underneath the belt.
So I'm looking at a picture of it, and it looks like it's got some kind of pocket.
Yeah, it has a little pocket in the front, and that's where it comes with a 1/4 inch thick pad that goes inside that pocket. It's just a flat pad. It's nice and soft. Actually, like if you were doing something where you had to bend over, the pad would actually bend with your body. It's not a hard piece of plastic or piece of foam. It's not going to have any give. So, you can do whatever you want to do, and it still feels comfortable when you're moving around.
Okay.
And then that pad, that 1/4 inch pad, we actually have accessories that we sell with, that you could buy with the belt. That's a 3/8 pad and a 1/2 inch pad that goes in that pad pocket for people that need more pressure on the hernia.
Okay. So is it the pad that creates the pressure?
Yeah, it's the pad, and not only that, but the way that the fabric wraps around your body, because basically it's made from a piece of breathable neoprene, which is basically like what you would use for a wetsuit, except it's not hot, it's breathable, so it doesn't cause any heat underneath the belt. So the way that the belt conforms to your body, and then along with the pad pushing back into the hernia, it pushes the hernia back in.
Okay, so the idea is it actually cures the hernia by pushing whatever's protruding back into where it should be.
I wouldn't say it cures the hernia, but it helps you manage the hernia. If you are like if you are like me and you're trying to heal your hernia naturally, then it would allow the hernia to stay pushed in while you're trying to do that, or until you get surgery.
And does the body, in a good case, does the body regenerate the wall that was protruded through?
It would if you do all the right things.
Okay.
That's what we're going to talk about a little bit,
but just wearing the belt, I wouldn't say that just wearing the belt. I definitely wouldn't say just put the belt on and you're going to be healed.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. But it definitely will help you feel like you're walking around without a hernia.
And by the way, if you do think you have a hernia, go to the doctor, have them diagnose it. You always want to obviously get a diagnosis and then
buy the belt.
Yes, and then get the belt. Well, I'm all for that. I really feel like, and I know some people that have had your belt and have used your belt and it's worked. So, it's every single solitary medical case is different, right? With anything. So hernias are typically one of those things that you do have the time to invest in getting and trying a natural.
Recommend that you go to a doctor if you have a hernia.
Well, I always want people to do that, but in this case, I love this product. It looks comfortable. It looks easy to wear. It looks, like you can wear it under pretty much anything. Yeah. It is for male and female.
Yep.
Same belt, male ambidextrous, not ambidextrous, unisex.
Yep. Yeah, male and female can both wear the belts.
It's so cost effective. I was like, it's great that you've given this great piece of potential medical, or holistic cure at such an affordable price too.
You can call it a medical device. It
is. Yeah. And I love that, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it is classified technically as a medical device.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it holistic because it's not without, obviously it's not with drugs, but that's like saying a cast is not holistic. A cast is a medical device, so.
Yeah.
So tell me then, what are some of the other things that you can do? Because interestingly enough, the few people that I know that have had the hernias are much like yourself, very fit, works out all the time, strong stomach muscles. Yeah. So it is a little bit defeating when you this happens.
You don't get hernia sitting on the couch watching TV eating Cheetos.
Right.
Yeah, it can happen.
You get a whole bunch of other problems, but you don't get a hernia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can literally happen to anybody. And what I realized when I first started writing on my blog, on the My Natural Hernia Cure blog, and doing YouTube videos, and then posting on Facebook and Instagram, things like that, I started talking to like thousands of people that also had hernias, because all of a sudden I was like in my own little bubble with my hernia trying to figure things out. And then all of a sudden that bubble just broke out into 1,000 different people that have the same thing as me, that I was able to talk to, and realized that there was a couple commonalities that we all had that seemed to me like, okay, so if we all have these same commonalities, then if I could fix these things that we all have in my own body, then I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to fix the hernia. So that's kind of what I did. After a lot of trial and error, for about 3 years of trial and error, trying to figure out different exercises and ways to strengthen the muscles. And I went through so much stuff to try and figure things out. But once I realized those couple of commonalities and I put a plan in place to fix those, I had really fast results on fixing the hernia.
What were the commonalities, if you don't mind me asking?
The first one was, I had an anterior pelvic tilt. So that's when your pelvis is tilted a little bit towards the front, and it makes your butt stick out to the back. It makes your belly stick out a little bit to the front.
I have that.
Do you?
I have a belly that sticks out to the front, so I must have that. All the time I thought I was getting fat. It's my anterior pelvic tilt. Is that what it's called?
Tilt, Bob.
That's it.
Okay, I'm sorry, honey. That's just my anterior pelvic tilt. I got that one down.
You don't have to diet or anything, Bob. Just fix your anterior.
Yeah, no, it's a hereditary condition. I can't help it. Thank you. That just stopped a lot of fights in my marriage.
I'm gonna go with Irina.
But that was
makes
the first
sense,
thing,
though.
That was the first thing that I realized, that there was a lot of people that I was talking to that had, either anterior pelvic tilt or some sort of pelvic postural issue going on. But most of them were anterior pelvic tilt. So it was that was the first one that I thought, ding, ding, ding. Is that curable, or that's just the way your spine is developed? Yeah, you can fix it by doing exercises, and it was really easy. It's just you have to keep up with the exercises it took me about a month to just
do you list it can be fixed in a month, Bob? Do you list those exercises on your website?
Yeah, they are listed on my website and on my YouTube channel. Okay. I have a video on how I fixed my APT.
Does having the APT give you more likely to have a hernia?
Yeah, I think it does. I think that's kind of a precursor to getting the hernia, is having that anterior pelvic tilt.
Okay. And the one thing I wanted to ask real quick, how does this differentiate from what you wear if you're lifting weights, a weight belt? And what's the function of the weight belt versus the thing? I know one's to hopefully stop you from getting a hernia.
You can change belts now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really could understand what a weight belt was really doing for you when you're lifting weights, as far as trying to stop a hernia from
supports your back, I think,
occurring, because it doesn't really put pressure in the right spot unless you wear it really low. You have to get really low, into that crease between your thigh and your stomach. So a weight belt doesn't really do that. So I'm not sure. The only thing I could see that belt doing is stopping the type of hernia that comes out of your navel. Because it's putting pressure there, but I don't think it would do anything for an inguinal hernia.
You look better in the gym when you have one.
What's that?
You look better in the gym when you have one on. You look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
put the gloves on, put the belt on.
Yeah, you're hardcore when you're wearing a weight belt.
The visual on that. So that's one of the things. And what are some of the other things that you had in common with when you were researching?
A weakness in the transversus abdominis muscle, which is basically, that's the most inner sheath of muscle in your stomach. And that muscle wraps all the way around from your spine in the back on both sides, all the way around the front, down to the crease between your thigh and your stomach, and all the way up to the bottom of your ribs. So it's literally it's what holds you upright, is your transversus abdominis. So I realized this when I started thinking about it, and I started talking to a lot of other people. I realized that when I was a little kid, like if you look at pictures of me when I'm a little kid, I had this big, huge pot belly that would just poke out, like, it was like this big. But
some people have them as adults too.
Wait, do you have pictures of you with as a little kid? We could insert those here.
I do on my website. Actually, I think I
yeah. Oh, they're on the. Okay, we'll pull them from there.
Yeah,
okay.
I wrote a post about this a long time ago, so I'm sure it's still in there.
Yeah.
Where I actually showed a picture of myself, and you could see my big old belly, sticking out. This little skinny kid with a big belly, and I kind of had that all throughout my life. And then when I was a teenager, I start getting self-conscious. I'm looking at other people. I'm like, wait, why isn't their stomach sticking out like that? And I consciously started pulling my stomach in to flatten it out. And then I guess I just got used to that. And, you hold your stomach in a little bit, just walking around all the time. But I don't think I ever actually, the reason I think that my stomach stuck out like that was because I had a weak transversus abdominis, like since I was born. And because it's a weird muscle to tone up. It's not, you can't do crunches and tone your transversus abdominis. So
you cannot. That was my next question.
No, you can't. So you can have a ripped six pack. You could be a bodybuilder with like ripped six pack and have a weak transversus abdominis because it's the inner muscle that's behind the rectus abdominis, which is what makes your six pack show. Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of hard to strengthen that muscle, and it kind of takes like certain exercises to work just that muscle. So, which most people
do. You
don't.
Show those exercises? You have those exercises?
Yeah, I have those exercises. Yep, I have that on my blog and on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is a little bit more updated, I guess. It'd probably be easier for people to find stuff on my YouTube channel than on my blog. Yeah, all the exercises that I did for that are on there also.
Now, let me ask you this: if someone has a weak transverse abdominal muscle, is that how you say it?
Transversus abdominis.
And they have not had a hernia,
mm-hmm.
And they don't even know it, but can they do these specific exercises to strengthen that and then potentially stop you from getting one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely, because that's the transversus abdominis is the wall of the inguinal canal, which is where the abdominal contents is pushing through that muscle. So if you can strengthen that muscle, it's definitely going to stop you from getting a hernia for sure.
That's awesome. Okay, so then you get the hernia, inguinal hernia.
Yeah.
And you decide to make this belt. You make it or truss, I should say, the Comfort Truss.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did you have to wear it before you started seeing or feeling a result? And how long in its entirety? And do you still have to maintain it, wearing it a certain amount of time of day or week or month?
Yeah. I wore mine once I designed it. I put that thing on, like as soon as I got out of bed in the morning, I would put it on. And before I went to bed at night, I would take it off. The only time I would ever take it off if I was awake was while I was taking a shower. And I did that religiously every single day because I didn't want the hernia to poke out at all. I wanted to relieve all the outward pressure that was coming out of my body. I wanted to relieve that pressure as much as possible to allow the muscle to heal. So it would hold back the hernia. So I did that for probably about 4 years, maybe a little bit more, because it took me about 3 years or 3.5 years of trial and error of just trying to figure things out on what will make a positive impact on the hernia. And I couldn't figure it out. It was driving me nuts. Like it was every day. It was on my mind every single day, all day long. I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I don't want surgery. How am I going to do this? And so that took a while until, like I said, I started talking to other people and kind of figured things out and put a plan together. And then once that happened, I started seeing really quick results once I put that plan in place and started working on those issues that we all have. It was like 3 weeks within the 3-week time period of me putting that plan together and starting to work on those things holistically, I saw my hernia went, basically it was the size of 2 golf balls. That's about how big it was of a lump.
Wow.
And
that's a considerable size.
Yeah, it was pretty big. And it went down to about half that size in about 3 weeks. And then within about 3 months from then, it went down about to the size of an M&M, so it was just barely poking out, just a little bit. And then I guess after that, it probably took maybe 6 more months to get from that point to the point where it was completely flat and gone, and I didn't really feel any pressure anymore. And then that's about the time when I started, feeling like, okay, I'm going to try and take the belt off now. It was kind of crazy because I was so used to having the belt on, just the comfort of the belt and the security of having that belt and being able to do whatever I wanted. Once I put the belt on, I could do anything I wanted. But once I took the belt off, it was like I felt exposed and I felt, vulnerable to like anything I do. If I pick this up, it's going to blow the hernia out. I was so nervous.
Of course, a lot of that was subconscious. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Can you use the belt as a prophylactic? To stop the hernia in the beginning? There are other types of prophylactics. It's not just that. And anything that stops something from happening is a prophylactic. Your mind's in the gutter.
No,
Corey.
it's not.
Can you use it prophylactically?
Can you pick another word?
If you take aspirin before you have a headache, that's a prophylactic. Can you? And that's a guy who knows medicine who's saying that too. So can you use it if you don't have a hernia to kind of stop you from getting a hernia, or is it you have to wait till you get the hernia?
I think that you probably could, but I don't think most people probably wouldn't even think of it at all, because I don't think very many people have even the thought of having a hernia on their mind. Until it happens, the question is, they're like, oh my God, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Now that you've had one, but it has subsided, it's retracted, do you feel the need to wear the belt when you're doing something to stop it from happening again?
I do. The only time I wear it now is when I'm riding my dirt bike, because there's just a lot going on. It's rough on your body, and I don't feel like I really have total control over the transverse abdominis, which over time I kind of retrained to always be tight when I'm doing things. So that's the only
Wait,
time.
I want to say this. Sorry. I just want to say and I'm assuming, I don't know, I have not had one, but I would assume that if I realized I had one today, I got the belt, I would probably take, and I don't know, maybe you have all this information on your site, maybe you'll give it to us right now, but I would take some time off of my workout routine and do the things necessary before I just throw the belt on and start going, willy-nilly.
By the way, the definition of prophylactic, a medicine or course of action used to prevent disease.
Ding, ding, where's our button?
I don't have my...
Oh, okay. Where is our button?
Sammy took it.
Okay. And Bob has a whole little area of buttons that he likes to push. They're my buttons. He likes to push my buttons. Well, no, because I would think that, you can overdo it when you have a hernia of any kind. And so take us through what you would tell someone or the knowledge that you have in how long it might take the average person, and when to incorporate the exercises that you have on your YouTube channel, etc. Diet. I don't know if diet has anything to do.
I found it.
This is where
I love
for me. It gets a little bit tricky for me with this part, because that would probably be the right thing to do for most people, is to kind of take a step back, figure things out, not do certain things, and kind of take it easy while you have a hernia. For me, I had to figure out a way that I didn't have to hold back anymore. Because if I was going to have to hold back because of the hernia while I was trying to figure things out, I would have just went and got surgery and got it over with so I could get back to doing what I love to do.
Got it.
So for me, it was like when I made the belt, that was the whole point of the belt, was so that I could put it on and I don't have to think about the hernia. I can go and do anything that I want to do without having to hold back. So it's hard for me to say. I know that there's probably a lot of people out there that are like, well, that's dumb. And maybe it is. Maybe that's not the right way to do it. That's the way that I did it. So,
That's why you originally created this too, was so that you could still be active and with the intent of retracting that hernia.
Okay, so my question is, and that's great. So the hernia is a protrusion of your intestines or something inside through the abdominal wall, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
When you put the belt on the first day, does it push it back in, or does it slowly push it back in?
Yeah, no, it pushes it as soon as you put it on. Basically, you push the hernia in with your hand, and then you put the belt on. And once you have the belt on, it's in. The hernia is being held in.
It keeps it in.
Yep.
If you take but it would take time for that abdominal wall to heal, correct?
Right.
So if you take the hernia belt off at night, does the protrusion go back through, or do you need some kind of stress or some kind of trauma to push it back through?
Well, if you took the belt off at night and you were up walking around, then it would, gravity and whatever food that you eat, the weight on your stomach and in your intestines would end up pushing it back out.
Okay.
But if you just took it off and laid down in bed, most people, like when you lay down on your back, the hernia is gone. It doesn't stick out.
Oh, the hernia usually goes forward towards your stomach.
Right. Yep.
Okay. So then you wake up, put the belt on, and you just take it off when you go to bed.
Yep.
And hope to God you don't sleepwalk.
Do you have to take it off, or can you leave it on? And if you leave it on, will you have a better chance of healing quicker if you leave it on when you sleep?
I believe that if you take it off, it's probably better because it allows blood flow to get to the area while you're sleeping.
Yeah, because the belt is not healing the wall. The belt is simply pushing whatever the intestine or whatever part of your body through it, so the wall can heal. Right. Because it won't heal if the protrusion is still there, correct?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. But it doesn't speed up the healing of the wall.
Right. If you think about if you had a cut on your arm and then you were constantly, poking at it or picking at it, putting your finger against it, it's going to take forever to heal because you're constantly messing with it. You know what I mean? But if you just leave it alone, it would heal a lot faster if you just let it be. So my view is just that I wanted to get all the pressure off of that in the abdominal wall as much as possible so that that wall can strengthen and heal and heal back together. And
because it's pushed back through, those pain receptors aren't firing, so you can basically go out through your day and you're not feeling the pain, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so like for me, I never had pain with my hernia. I only had a feeling of pressure. There was never any pain. Some people do have pain. Some people don't. It just varies from person to person.
Now, do you have to adjust?
Yeah, once you get the pressure off of it, the pain would normally subside.
Okay. Do you adjust that pad as to where the hernia is to push it back?
Yeah, it goes right over top of it.
Okay. And the hernia is something you can feel, right?
And see.
And see?
Okay. In most cases.
Yeah, usually sometimes people have hernias and they can't feel them. And like I've had people say, oh, I went to the doctor and they can't even see it. When they check, they couldn't even see it. So I don't know, with that, it would be a little bit harder for that because there's not an actual protrusion of the abdominal contents coming through the muscle. But once there is that lump, you definitely feel better when you push it in. It just,
let me ask this question as delicately as I can. When you go to a doctor, why do they perform the hernia test the way they perform the hernia test? This is a great question that I would love to ask a doctor because I have no idea why they go and put their hand on your balls to check for underneath, and they turn their head and cough.
That's a different hernia though. There's several different types of hernias, and that's a different hernia.
Yeah. Because
I hope so.
An inguinal hernia, you wouldn't. That's definitely would not be the way that you would check for an inguinal hernia.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but they are very common. I do know that, and they can be painful or they can be benign.
The inguinal ones or the other ones?
The inguinal. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The linguini ones.
So the big question is, Mr. Hurst, do they come in pink for women?
Not yet. But we are.
We need some styling going on.
We just started our own factory here, like in my warehouse, because it's been manufacturing nightmares for about a year and a half with, trying to find other manufacturers to
I
make
can
them.
imagine. I got my own company, and it's trying to get stuff from anywhere else has
All
been.
manufactured inside the U.S.?
Yep. Yeah. So now we're doing it in-house. We got everything set up here to manufacture everything. So hot pink.
But they're worn under your clothing, so it's not like
pretty soon.
somebody sees that they're pink, right?
No, but
You just want to
women
feel pretty with your hernia truss?
Yeah, if I have a dress on and I'm wearing my hernia belt, I would like it to match my,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It looks very. Let me ask you that, because I know what it's like. I had a sports lingerie company for 2 years, and in just designing something is interesting, in and of itself.
Did you say sports lingerie?
I did. It was called Tomboy Designs.
People play a lot of sports in lingerie. I guess lingerie football league, right?
Well, that's a whole other story for another time, but the long and short of it is I created it with my ex-husband, and there was really cute sportswear stuff. And so I'm very into this, because if you put a picture of it up right now, this Comfort Truss, it looks comfortable. And for me, if I see something and it doesn't look comfortable, I'm probably not even going to go down that road of investigating it. But this actually looks comfortable, and you can wear it with low-rise jeans, or it just looks like it's.
Is there a difference between the male version and the female version in the way it's manufactured?
No, they're both exactly the same.
Okay. Just one's pink and one's blue?
Pink yet, but I think I might have started something new on this Comfort Truss.
That's the big thing for women is like nude color, like skin color. That's what women.
What's it made out of again?
It's a breathable neoprene.
Neoprene. Do they make neoprene in pink?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Because
Sure
it's a
do.
wetsuit, right? Yeah. So.
Well, and it's actually great because you can.
Is breathable though, so it's not.
Breathable wetsuit, right?
Yeah, it's different than actual wetsuit material, and it's a lot harder to find. So.
And you can swim and surf and do anything with this belt, and it's not cumbersome. It's not uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And most people, like if you read through the reviews on the Comfort Trust website, there's a common theme of people that saying I don't even feel like I have it on. It's like I'm not even wearing a belt.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's like the number one thing that is for me, that's the top right there. That's what I wanted. I want people to be able to go about their lives without having the hernia on their mind all day, every day, like it was for me for so long, So that's
because it is subconscious. I know this sounds kind of crazy, and since we're talking about all things, you can get hernias from just about anything. And I know people that have had hernias, and this sounds crazy, and I'm sorry, but they've gotten a hernia from being constipated.
Yeah.
And from pushing.
Yeah, because it's a lot of stress on the organs. Yeah,
it is.
That's serious.
Yes. And so in that, I'm sure, hopefully, do you have some sort of.
Well, by the way, I know a guy who got a hernia reaching for top dish on the top shelf. You can get him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guy, he played an entire game of ice hockey, 60 minutes, came home, reached for a top shelf, and got him a hernia. He was fine during the game. Yeah, you can get him to. So I always joke around, 20 years ago when I used to play hockey, afterwards we'd be having a few beers saying, oh, did you see the move I made on that guy? Did you see how I did that? Now it's, I got hurt doing this, I got hurt doing that. Yeah, you're at the age where everything you do causes. I've woken up, I've injured my shoulder sleeping the wrong position. Yeah, it's.
You're hilarious. But actually, it is true. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is it's just as important to, because we're talking about the intestine, and how it can protrude, it's important to align that properly with diet and exercise and water intake. And you can minimalize these things internally as well as externally, correct?
Yeah, definitely. And that was another thing. That was one of the other commonalities that I found between people was their diet. And if you have a diet that causes excess gas or bloating or constipation, then bingo, hernia, because that internal pressure, especially if you have gas or bloating, all that internal pressure, it's got to go somewhere. It's trying to find the path of least resistance. And when you have a hernia or you have a weakness in the musculature in the inguinal canal, that's where it's going to go. It's going to find that weakness and it's going to push out through that weakness. So eliminating foods that cause gas and bloating is, definitely at the top of the list if you have a hernia, for sure.
So, checking my phone. It's my phone, Bob. Will you see if it's my daughter? Sorry, I have a 22-year-old, and she's
really
off at college. So I always usually have my phone with me, but my phone broke today, so he's got it on his thing. I love when somebody out of their own pain.
Okay, first of all, I'm so sorry. That was once again a rookie mistake from our host. You left your phone on.
I know, because I wanted to make sure I could get a hold of Ariana, but was it her?
I don't know, but somebody's
Okay.
calling. You're fine.
But one of the things that I love about that, well, many things, is that I've always said, and I say it almost every episode, is I love it when people turn their pain into their purpose. And this was not just a physical pain and a nuisance, but it's mental too when you have a bump. I know this. I've had it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes. And so to create something for people that can potentially cure them, heal them, and give them some peace of mind, a level of comfort,
Right.
that their choice and decision to try to fix this is in their hands, and not necessarily Western medicine. And I'm not dissing that. I ended up having to have a tumor removed, but I did exhaust all avenues. And had I not exhausted all the avenues, and this is the most important part of this for me in what you've created, I would have felt defeated. And the way that I work, I would have lived with that forever, right? Even though I did end up having to have surgery, I still exhausted every possible avenue for me. And I'm not talking about a hernia, I'm talking about a tumor I had. But if I were to have one, I would rush out and grab this belt and try this first. I would, unless the doctor said, hey, you need to get this done today, then of course, But so knowing that there's this, that you can have that peace of mind, and like I said, even if you ended up having to have surgery, and it's so affordable. I can't thank you enough for it being affordable. I'm trying to keep it. That's where I want to keep it affordable for people. There are cheaper ones on the market that you can get for $15 or whatever, but you're not going to be able to wear them. I think that your price is very inexpensive for what you're trying to do. Yes.
Yeah, it was like $39, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I saw a 30% coupon. Is that for you or for one of the other people?
A what?
I'm on the internet. They say 30% coupon. First of all, does anybody else sell a Comfort Truss?
No, right now just on my website.
Okay. Did you trademark the name?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because I when you go online, they say 30% off Comfort Trust. I want to make sure that's you.
It's trust, not trust.
Trust. I know, not trust.
Sorry. Correct you, Bob.
Oh, as you say, intestine?
Well,
as opposed to the intestine, it's intestine.
So typically, I know you'd spent 3 to 4 years with this, but if someone were to realize they had a hernia, and purchase this belt, from that moment on, and I get it, everybody's different, right? It just depends on the internal, whatever's going on inside there. But would you say that a realistic would be 3 to 6 months, if not a little bit longer, before they start noticing some sort of?
I think so. If they can focus on basically those 5 things, those 5 root causes, I think if they can put all their focus and energy into that and really stay with it, then I would say 6 months. They could probably definitely see positive results, probably faster than that. Whether it's going to go all the way away in 6 months, it's hard to say, but definitely they would see positive results for sure.
Now, when you were on yours and developing this product, were you also consulting with the doctor to see what the progress of it was, or?
No, I wasn't. No, I was just doing it on my own, just basically going off of how I felt and what I saw.
But for the producers of the show, you recommend that you do it in conjunction with your doctor, right?
Of course. I wouldn't do anything without talking to my
we
doctor.
Always do that. Yeah. That's definitely. Are you talking about my sweat mark?
I'm saying don't raise your arm. You have a spot, so now you raise your arm.
I'm sweating in here. Listen,
the hair's on.
I want to tell you guys something, that I'm watching the morning show, and one of the most endearing things about the morning show is Reese Witherspoon, and she's a truth seeker, and she drops some pretty heavy bombs on this show, but everybody sweats. Yeah. Everyone sweats. Sorry.
Is that a book you wrote, like Everybody Poops, Everybody Sweats?
No, but you can't be perfect all the time, Bob.
Wow. Some of us.
I sweat. I know. Sorry. If you can't make fun of yourself, then really,
Make fun of others.
then make fun of others. They like you do. Thank you.
All the time.
A lot.
Yes,
So
yes,
much so
yes,
you don't
yes.
have to think about your own things.
I hide my insecurities by making fun of you.
That's fine. I can handle it.
Can you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I have a box
So
of tissue
stop,
here.
everybody stop the comments about Bob's too mean to Cory. She likes it. She likes when I insult her.
I
She
know,
thinks it's
everybody
good
thinks he's
TV
too
or
mean to me.
good podcasting.
Yeah. Well, I guess one of my main things is for this Comfort Truss that you can get on mynaturalherniacure.com is it you wash it, you just stick it in the dryer, or you stick it, since you're wearing it every day, all day, right?
Mhm.
Is there a
Yeah.
maximum amount of time you wear it, and can you just take it off and throw it in the washer? Do you have to hand wash it? What are the maintenance on that?
I would get, and I have a thing right on the homepage. Sometimes people think it's kind of funny, but it's a graphic that says that we offer bulk discounts because you're wearing this like a pair of underwear. You're going to wear it every day, all day long.
Yeah.
So like it's got a guy holding his nose like this, like, and it says, "Don't be that guy." So who's just going to buy one and just wear that one, you know what I mean, every day, all day long, and it's going to be disgusting. So I always recommend to people to get at least 3 of them, so that way you can wear the one, you could take it off at night, you could wash it, you just wash it by hand in the sink. You could wash it out, wring it, hang it up to dry, and then the next day you'd have a clean, dry one to wear.
Right.
And then also, like if you work out or if you work outside and get sweaty, if you're mowing grass or whatever, digging ditches, you'll always have a clean, dry one if you have 3 of them. So
you recommend having at least 3 of them?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Like underwear?
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully you have more than 3 pairs of underwear, but...
I got one in the wash.
Got that. Did you see me? I was like, what? Hang on. This explains a lot.
Right over here.
I know. Well, no, I think it's great. I think, honestly, even if you don't have one, take a trip to your website because you have a lot of information on other things that are helpful health-wise.
Yeah.
I know you, and hopefully I can drop this right now, but I'm looking at this guy going, oh my gosh, he looks like he's 28, but you have a grandchild.
It's the light in his room.
I know. You stay fit and you're healthy, and like you said, and I felt the same way when I realized I was diagnosed with a big 3-pound tumor, 3 pounds in my stomach. I was like, how can this happen? I eat well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I exercise.
Yep.
What? Right? But sometimes these things happen and you feel it's a mental as well as physical thing. You feel, defeated, like you don't have control over this.
George, your kids are how old?
23 and 19.
Cory has 1 daughter. Guess how old the daughter is?
22.
Hey, you just say
I
it?
mentioned that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's paying attention.
Yeah, she had the daughter when she was 6. Sorry, I must have left the room.
Yeah, no, I think you were here. No, I love the fact that you were proactive in this, and that you took the time to research it and design something that is not just, not just effective, but it's a physical thing as well as a mental thing. And I understand that when I saw this and saw your story, I understood, this is whatever you're going through physically, it's just as physical as it is mental,
Right. Oh,
so
for sure.
creating something to alleviate that for people is huge.
It's
and
for hernia, I think the mental aspect of it is the hardest part to get over. Is just the mental part that because it kind of takes away your manhood a little bit. Like you kind of feel like less of a man.
Why is that?
I'm not sure what it is, but I guess it's because men should be strong. I should be able to lift that tire and put it over here, but I can't because I have this hernia now. Or it's just, there's something about it that's mental. And I think the fact that you don't really want to talk about it either is another thing. So there's millions and millions of people out there with hernias, and everybody's just got this all bottled up in their own head because they don't feel like they're able to talk about it with other people. And that was part of the reason why I made the blog too, is just, I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to put my story out there. I'm not the only one that's dealing with this. If there's that many people that have this, there's got to be other people like me that are in the same position and looking for a natural cure, So I was like,
hear things like, oh, it's a weakness in the abdominal wall, and you hear the word weak and it goes to I get it.
exactly.
I totally get it.
And
Yeah.
not only that, but then if you mention it to somebody and somebody says, oh, how'd you get it? And if you're one of those guys that got it while they were straining on the toilet, that's not a very good story.
Six guys in an alley jumped me, and I fought 5 of them, and then the 6th one came up from behind, and last thing I know, I had a hernia.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
it's true.
Nobody who gets a hernia on the toilet says they got the hernia on the toilet. I was benching 475 pounds. I thought I could go to 480, and apparently not. But.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. I get that part of it. I think when I had my tumor removed, they took my uterus. And I was just having this conversation with my best friend the other day. I was like, there's something psychological about my daughter's home being gone, where she was created.
Yeah.
And that I do feel less of, because I can't, even though I'm not going to have any more children, there's just something psychological. So this resonated with me, because you did something and were proactive enough to take the next steps to create a tool, which goes back to what the Dalai Lama said, right? Each of us has tools for helping to change the world in a better direction. Right. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And obviously you've turned your pain, whether it be mental, physical, into your purpose.
Right.
And so just curious, how long ago this happened for you, and how long have you had the belt?
It's been, I think I lose track of time, I guess, because I'm getting old. But
been there.
It's
right, Cory?
It's been about 6. I think it's been about 6 years since I actually realized that I had the hernia.
And have you had a lot of success stories come back and say, this is so wonderful and great?
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, if like on the Comfort Truss website, I get, I think I have like almost 1,500 reviews on the website. Wow. People videos. Wow. And, write really good reviews about how, they get their lives back. People sending me emails all the time, you know what I mean? That I don't know what I would do without this thing. Most of my customers come back and buy a second time, you know what I mean? Because it's part of their life now, which is, to me, that it's awesome. It sucks that you need it in the first place, and I'm sorry for that, but it's great.
But it's good that it's there.
I'm able to provide you with the relief that you need. It feels really good to be able to do that.
So great. Oh,
and
yeah.
then when the pink one comes out, you can sell all those to the new
I might just get one to have.
Just to have one,
yeah.
You have to buy 3. So if one's $39, how much are 3?
It's at $99 because I do a 17% off discount. So it's $99 for 3 of them. And that would probably get you, you'd probably be able to use 3 for about a year. They do wear out over time. They're not.
Do they stretch out? Or?
Yeah, they end up stretching out because it's such a minimal design that they're like the minimalist one that I have, it doesn't have any binding sewn around the edges. There's not a lot to it, so it does stretch out over time, and you end up having to replace them.
Do they come in small, medium, large? Are there sizes, and you have a size chart online?
Yep. Yeah, it's a small, medium, large, extra large, and then there's a left side belt, there's a right side belt, and a double belt. So if you have hernias on both sides, you would get the double belt.
And this isn't something that you have to take off being a boy or a girl when you go to the restroom. You just leave it on it. Yeah. That's why I like it. It's very, very,
and
very
also
easy
there's
to apply.
That's a big feature. And then also that there's no metal buckles or anything like that. So that when you're going through airport security, you're not going to set off any alarms. That would be super important.
That's good.
That's great. That's my trust. Yeah, it's
Is there a spot for your cell phone? No. There's a whole line I am telling you, I've got in my head. I've got all these things created in my head. I'll shoot you an email. Well, I'm grateful for your time. We have 3 things that we like to ask, 3 questions that we like to end on, and I obviously, I'm obsessed with this product. I think it's a great product.
Can't wait to go out and get a hernia so I can use it.
No, listen, I've said it just a million times in this interview that, whenever you do something that comes out of your own pain, to me, it's incredible. You could have gotten the surgery. You could have, so, you did the work, and thank you on behalf of all those people. So let's go to this next portion of our show, Bob.
Go ahead. You're stalling because you don't know how to say it.
I know. 3 words that describe you, George Hurst.
Oh my God. I should have prepared for this. 3 words that
No,
describe.
we like to catch you off guard.
I'd say I'm nice. I'm consistent, and 3 words that describe me. Nice, consistent, and I don't know what the third one would be. Active.
Hey, that's the biggest one, because if not, you would not have created this belt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was the whole motivation behind this. That's a great word. So we do a word association. It's not a game.
No, it's a word association test.
It's a word association test.
Yes, it is.
Sorry.
It's not a game. It
I
wasn't the
know.
Rorschach game.
I know.
These are deep psychological tests. We're going to evaluate your psyche, your id, your
no.
ego,
Not
and your
really.
super id.
Not really. I'm going to say a word. You're going to give me the first word that comes to mind.
Okay.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Always
7 words.
You've been doing this
Okay.
for 5, 10 shows. Always 7.
Okay. Okay, Bob.
Are any of these gonna invoke a curse word out of me?
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's up to you.
People.
Don't think. Quick.
Hard. Hernia.
Pain.
Not good.
Funny, I was going to say Bob. Just kidding, Bob. Sports.
Surfing.
Time.
Not enough.
Isn't that the truth? Surgery.
No way.
Surgery what?
No way.
No way. No way. I'm with you on that one. Honestly. And the last one is, Bob wrote these words, by the way. The last one is Pink. Not to be confused with the band, who I love. I love Pink.
Singer.
Sports lingerie.
Sports
There you go.
lingerie. Yes.
There's no band named Pink. It's a singer.
Pink is. Oh, okay. Those were great. And we have one last question for you, George Hurst. Thank you. Who is somebody that influences you in your life? We used to say a celebrity crush, but we're not doing that. We're changing that, and we're heading over into who influences you the most. Wow, I can't even say that
Who do you
word.
admire?
Who do you admire?
I would think, well, I don't know about admire, but the person who's probably influenced me the most in my life would be Stephen Covey. He wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
It's great.
And
Great.
I read that.
Yes.
I read that book when I was in my early 30s, and just completely changed my entire view of the world and the way that I function in it. So, without that book, I wouldn't be who I am. And so that's
Wow.
that's what I would say.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's been around a long time. Stephen Covey,
Yep.
right? Yes.
Yep.
That's a good one. That's a great one. Worthy. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
well,
no problem.
I would encourage anyone listening who is, suffering or knows someone suffering to definitely check out your website, mynaturalherniacure.com.
Mhm.
And thank you. I'm sorry you had
Thank
to go
you.
through what you had to, but I'm also grateful that you came out on the other end and are helping thousands and thousands of people. So thank you for your time
and
today.
Now, at this point, I'm glad that I went through it because I'm helping a lot of people. So feels good.
It does, right? And that's what
Yeah.
we're supposed to do. I mean,
Yep.
the Bible says, whatever you do
Yeah.
not do for me, you do not do for the least of me.
I'm glad that I went through it, but I hope I never have to go through
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah. Hopefully never again. Once is enough.
Yeah.
Well, also, you're glad you went through it so you can help other people who are going through it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem. It's my pleasure. Thank you guys.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
No, you were going to say something.
Well, I was actually going to say, I didn't want to say it on the air, but I was going to say, do we want to do a promo code? I didn't even think to ask him that.
And we're out.
The Coriolis Effect is produced by Jazz Productions. Producers Corey Oliver and Bob Victor. Host Corey Oliver. Editor Bob Victor. And assistant editor Kate Bonsall.
Hi, guys. I'm Cory Oliver, and thank you for watching The Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below and have a great day.